The Blake Lively just tried to run out of the courtroom like she was in a scene from a Hollywood thriller. But guess what? This time there were no cameras, no director, and no script to save her. The second her own lawyer turned on her and dropped explosive details, stuff she fought tooth and nail to keep hidden, Blake pulled what insiders are now calling the fainting stunt of the decade. Sources say she grabbed her stomach, staggered a bit, and muttered something about feeling dizzy. Classic drama queen move. But honey, the judge wasn't buying it. Nope, not this time. Not when Justin Baldoni's team was tearing her narrative apart like a pack of wolves on raw meat. In fact, Blake's little performance only made things worse for her. Talk about playing yourself. But let's rewind. This legal drama didn't just pop up overnight. No. This volcano had been bubbling for months. People started noticing when Blake was suddenly being dragged to court like it was her day job. Like every other day, she was photographed walking into court with a poker face and designer sunglasses hiding the chaos underneath. Think about high-stakes pretrial sessions, not some basic procedural stuff. Every hearing felt like a minefield, legal motions flying, countersuits popping up like firecrackers, and new evidence, baby. That courtroom had more plot twists than a telenovela. Eyewitnesses say from the moment she stepped in, Blake was visibly shaken. She was seen clinging to her legal team like her career depended on it, whispering behind her hand, gulping down air like she was on the verge of collapse. It was clear something huge was haunting her. And then it happened. Justin Baldoni's lawyers requested to submit sealed evidence behind closed doors. And not just any sealed evidence. This was apparently the kind of material that could destroy a career in one blow. Was it a video, a secret recording, financial receipts? Nobody knew. But Blake's side panicked. Cameras caught her leaving court with her entire face covered, practically sprinting to her car like paparazzi with bullets. Whatever was in that file, it had her shook. Insiders revealed she skipped a scheduled management call that night and instead demanded an emergency legal meeting. The drama was just beginning. But as if that wasn't enough, boom, the ghost of her failed lifestyle brand Preserve came back to haunt her. HR documents that were never meant to see daylight were unsealed, and baby, they did not paint her as America's sweetheart. One report told a chilling story of a team meeting gone horribly wrong. Allegedly, a staffer called out Blake's chaotic leadership style, and Sis didn't just clap back. She threw a wine glass. Yes, threw it, like full-on glass-shattering drama. The employee was cut so badly, there were medical records and timestamped HR notes. The prosecution wasted no time. They took that incident and ran with it, calling it evidence of a long-standing pattern of violent behavior. Forget Blake the bubbly blonde, this was Blake the backroom bully, and it landed hard. They even brought in a former assistant who never spoke publicly before this trial. Their testimony left the courtroom frozen. They described multiple incidents where Blake would snap over the smallest mistakes. The scariest quote, apparently Blake once hissed, "If they push me, I'll push back harder. Glass breaks, so do people." What? Who even says that? That quote was burned into the jury's brain. The courtroom sat in stunned silence. Was this the same woman, grinning on red carpets, joking about baking cookies with her kids? Or was that all an illusion? Blake's lawyers tried everything. They said the wine glass incident was resolved years ago. They called it irrelevant. They screamed character assassination. But the judge let it stay. Why? Because it fit the profile prosecutors were building. The sweet persona in front of the cameras was not matching the fiery temper behind the scenes. As social media caught fire, old clips began to resurface, like one from 2016, where Blake joked about accidentally throwing a candle at someone's desk. What used to be a funny late-night story, now it was dark. Sinister even. Then came the moment. That sealed evidence, it was finally introduced, and Blake snapped. As the file was accepted, she froze, her face lost color, she grabbed her stomach. Then she tried to bolt, literally stood up, eyes locked on the exit. But the judge slammed her back down with words. He told her to sit and stay. Was it panic, or was it a desperate move to stop the truth? A court clerk spilled the tea later. Blake's lawyer had quietly told the judge she was experiencing a panic reaction to the evidence, but the judge refused to pause the session. He made her stay seated as the evidence rolled out. Sources say she barely spoke after that, just sat, wiping her face, completely rattled. A legal expert called it the most chaotic celebrity courtroom moment since Lindsay Lohan's necklace fiasco. But then, during the break, she tried again, more subtle this time. She got up, whispered to her assistant, and casually walked toward the door, but security had already been briefed. 2 guards stepped in like Secret Service agents and blocked her exit. You could feel the room buzz. Something huge was coming. And then it hit. The sealed evidence was an audio clip, just 4 minutes. But it was the most nuclear 4 minutes of her life. There's a phone call between Blake and her PR rep, recorded during the Baldoni drama. At first, it sounded like basic PR strategy, but then Blake said this: "If we can just hint that Justin manipulated her, no one will check the timeline. Just get her to cry on camera." The courtroom gasped. Blake's own voice, planning a fake victim narrative, weaponizing sympathy, exploiting emotion. And no, it wasn't hearsay. The clip was pulled from her own cloud backup. She had failed to delete it. Blake's lawyers fumbled hard. First, they claimed it was fake. Then they said it was out of context. But forensic experts had already confirmed the file was 100% real, authenticated to the last byte. From that moment, the tide turned. Social media exploded. The internet labeled her a manipulator in heels. Fans jumped ship. Advocates who once stood by her, they issued statements distancing themselves immediately. And the judge? He was visibly pissed. The next day, another bombshell. A former employee of Preserve testified under full anonymity. And what they said? Oh, my God. They accused Blake of orchestrating an entire smear campaign against Justin Baldoni, telling staff to create burner accounts, post lies on Reddit, spread rumors on Twitter. The icing on the cake? Blake allegedly tried to bribe the witness to stay quiet, offering a hush money bonus and an NDA. And when asked why they came forward, the witness looked right at the jury and said, "Because the truth was never part of her plan." But just when everyone thought it couldn't get more toxic, oh baby, it did. Because right after the anonymous testimony rocked the courtroom, prosecutors rolled in a digital trail that Blake probably thought was long gone. We're talking emails, text messages, and screenshots of group chats, the stuff she never expected to see again. Turns out, her assistant's phone had backed up all of it to and one brave person forwarded the entire archive to the DA's office, like a bomb just waiting to go off. What was in it? Let's just say Blake was not sending inspirational quotes. One message from Blake's own number to a junior producer who publicly supported Baldoni said, and I quote, "You don't know what I'm capable of. Walk away from his side or you'll regret your career forever." Regret your career forever. Another one to her assistant was even darker. "She's going to regret siding with him. Trust me, we'll bury her softly." Bury her softly? Who says that unless you're plotting an emotional takedown? Prosecutors didn't flinch. They told the court this wasn't emotional venting. This was premeditated intimidation, a strategy to threaten anyone who didn't stay in line, a campaign of fear, silence, and control. And the courtroom believed it. Blake's lawyers, they tried so hard to spin it. She was under stress. They're out of context. She didn't mean it. But the judge was done with the excuses. He ruled every single message fully admissible. And just like that, the entire internet imploded. Headlines: Blake's blackmail trail exposed. Fan pages turned into war zones. Former stans were posting side-by-side shots of her red carpet smiles and her courtroom threats. One fan tweeted, "I used to want to be her, now I'm scared of her." Another said, "This isn't just messy, this is dangerous." Legal commentators were now floating criminal obstruction charges because this wasn't just about what Blake said, it was about what she tried to cover up. And right when you think she'd have a plan to dig herself out, her own lawyer walked out on her. Yeah, her lead counsel, a top-tier celeb-defending courtroom warrior, resigned on the spot. In a mic-drop move, he filed a statement with the court citing irreconcilable ethical conflicts. Translation, even he couldn't defend her mess anymore. Insiders spilled that he had begged her to settle. Just take a deal. Apologize. Do anything to stop the bleeding. But Blake reportedly told him, "I'd rather lose everything than admit defeat." Well, honey, she just might. Because after her lawyer dipped, her entire legal team went into crisis mode. And then came the most desperate move of all. Her new attorney filed a request with the court for, get this, limited immunity. Yup, she wants to cooperate in exchange for protection. Translation, Blake might be willing to snitch on her own PR team, assistants, and legal consultants just to save herself from going down alone. People in the courtroom gasped when the immunity plea dropped. It was like watching someone set fire to their own house just to escape through the smoke. But the judge, he's not convinced.